Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Marcus here again. 3 or 4 times since I said my last message was given. Here I am again. Can't stay away from you. Why? Because you need me. I want to talk to you at this moment on, do you know where you are at? Do you really know where you're at? I don't think you do. So if you don't mind, I would like to remind you of where you're at. You know, the story goes, depending upon where you're from, that there was a beginning. And that beginning did not start here, but someplace else. Now, we have been limited in the information that we have been given. But the information says that it started in heaven. There's a power, supposedly, that exists above all other powers that goes by the name, some call God, some call Allah, some call Yahweh, some call you. And there, supposedly, there was harmony with angels. And due to the fact of some of the things that it is said that angels did, we assume that angels had choice. Because the story continues that there was one angel that called himself special. Very special. They try to say that in the story that he was made special. I think that's a little hedged. I think anyone that think they're special do so themselves. They claim themselves to be special. And so this one, like here, got all kinds of recognition and got the big head and wanted to be boss and started advocating to be boss, getting others to follow his line of thinking. And I'm saying his just so you can understand the association. And apparently got others to support him, giving him strength and power. The story also goes that that was not acceptable in heaven. In heaven, everything is harmony. Everything is harmonized. There's no sidestepping. There's no going this way or any other way except love. And this wasn't love. This was defying love. And the story also goes that the perpetrators of this evil, we'll call it evil, was kicked out. Now some say he was kicked out to purgatory or Sheol or hell or out in the atmosphere on earth. We don't know. Depending upon where you come from, the story might be a little different. But he was kicked out of heaven. And then the story goes that that same power, having created this earth and established a port that was called the Garden of Eden, which is probably the beginning point, where they say that man was built, created, woman created, put together as a team. And they had access to do anything that they wanted to do. Everything was good. Just the two of them. Everything was good. But there was one thing that you could not do. And that was to violate the Creator. To forget the Creator. And so the Creator said, this will be represented by do not touch, they say, this tree. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil, they say. Because basically the knowledge of good and evil means that you have defied and now you got another thought as opposed to the original thought. And now you're confused because you don't know which one is proper. And in most instances, you will choose the one that fits the moment. And the challenge came, living in this great Eden. Now the story says there was a snake. Now we don't know how to describe that snake. They put him on a tree for the picture, to give you some idea. It has been said that the snake was a two-legged individual just like you and I. And some say the snake was a thought, a spirit. And it could have been either of these things. Doesn't matter. It caused the one who had been given all of everything to defy the rules, and did just like the angel. And like the angel, defying the rule by choice. Nothing made him do it. Choice. Made a choice. Defied the rules. And having defied the rules, was kicked out of this Eden where everything was just wonderful. Now, everything is a choice. You don't know if it's good or bad. You don't know if it's loving or evil. It's just something that you got to choose between. And that brings us here today. We make rules and regulations and laws, and they are usually made by people who've done anything they wanted to do to achieve what they wanted to achieve. And so they made rules and laws to restrict you from doing the same identical things that they had done, because doing what they did put them over you. And so now they've limited what you can do. And when you violate that, what do? They punish you. They put you in jail. They put you in prison. Some even are killed. But even before that, you are issued out just barely enough to survive, if that. And yet, if you go along with the program, you're given a little bit more. And if you're needed in certain areas and you're willing to not rock the boat, just go along with it, then you get it even a little bit more. And where does this little bit more come from? It comes from those who have given themselves, worked so hard to make sure that the powers that be were satisfied. And so they usurp all that they can from those that they want to abuse. Like taking natives' land, if you're in America, or in some other countries, it's taking somebody's land, taking somebody's food, and rewarding those who walk side by side with you, your generals, your what you want to call your military industrial complex. You reward these guys, or your scientists who can make instruments that will give you more power, like guns and bombs and missiles. You reward these. And then there are those that you want to use for entertainment, that gives you some way to laugh and think that you are somebody now. You pay them a lot. They are entertainers, like football and sports. I just say sports. And actors and people who make movies and people, anybody that can be used to do the things that you want to do, you reward them. And those that you have no need for except use and abuse, like you take the Mexicans who are suffering so bad in their country, you bring them over here and you put them on a job that people here have said, we will not work that for that low wage. But the people who are going through so much pain look at that as a benefit. And so they come and give of themselves for little or nothing. That's the kind of world we live in. And it's always been this way. But they say that there was a man who recognized the truth. And he came to this earth, just like you and I. And he walked amongst you and people like us. But he exhibited a power that most of us don't know about or ever thought about. They say he made wine out of water, was able to walk on water, They even say he made the blind to see, and he opened up the ears of the deaf so they can hear, and gave voice to the dumb. This was something else, some miraculous guy. And they say that the powers that be recognized that, wow, if I just had this on my side. So he took this individual who consecrated himself to go 40 days and 40 nights without any food as a fast, as a commitment to, because sometimes when you're dealing with life, you have to go through some changes. Do I continue to do this, or do I change my way? Do I continue to abide by the rules, or do I just go along with the status quo? These are challenges that every human being on the face of the earth have to go through. But they say this particular individual sacrificed himself to see, if I was brought to my lowest, what would I do? Would I give up? And so the powers that be here on earth, then and now, challenged him, wanted him to make bread out of stones, which he would not do, because man don't live by bread alone. There's something else. He was trying to speak to those powers, as he's been speaking to us today. We don't live by bread alone. Took him upon a high point. Somebody might want to translate that to mean something else, but they say to God, your master, the one that you say, your father, that is not the status quo, is not the government, our government, is not the president, is not the prime minister, is not the pope. Your God can protect you in situations. So why don't you just jump off this here hill, and anybody else will probably break their feet and leg and stuff, but your God will protect you. I mean, challenging this one, as we are challenged every day. Wasn't satisfied with that. You know what we love. We love diamonds and gold and silver and nice houses, big old houses, and nice cars, SUVs, and pretty clothes, and fabulous food on the table, and a career that we can say we profit from, even though it's a career that's designed by the power that be to serve the purpose for which they desire. We find ourselves in it and call ourselves somebody. We got big bank accounts. We got men and women that we can abuse and use at our disposal. Whatever we want to do with them, we can get them to do it, because we got what they want and we use them to do what we want done. Woo! Said, hey, look at all this land, all of this farmland and animals and wealth and stuff. All of these things, if you just let me be your master, just listen to me, I'll give you all these things. What do you say? Get behind me, Satan. I mean, get behind me. What is he saying to the rest of us? What is he saying to those who suffer? What is he saying to the low life? Those of you who don't benefit from the system. Those of you who sleeping on the bridges and sleeping in dumpsters and eating at the welfare line, eating at shelters, don't have a job, have your health care, a little bit that somebody might have given to you, taken away. Somebody might try to give you some food stamps to help you to eat, or give you some Section 8 so you might have a little house, and they want to take that away. And what do they want to do with it? They want to give it to those who don't need it. Then they want to build bigger bombs and bigger ships and be the most powerful thing on the face of the earth, so no one would challenge them. As Putin has said, he has a missile now that can go anywhere in the world. Don't try to stop it, because it'll go right around it. And you better listen to him now. These supposedly are the words of Mr. Putin. Now, what does that represent? That represents the most evil that can ever exist on the face of the earth, at least at this time. So you have people in other countries say, well, we got to be as evil. We got to be as evil. And the people are just filled with fear. And they go along with anything, give up any freedoms that they had, any liberties, just to survive. But what did this one do that was offered everything? He rejected it and kept on telling the people that there was another power, real power, that is found in the element of love. And if you ever wanted to know that, you'd have to love. You'd have to treat others as you want to be treated. And that was the sign that you recognize the Almighty Creator. And in so doing, your heaven could be created right here on earth in the midst of this hell, because hell cannot exist where love is. And so, when the great challenge came, as it comes to all of us, every last one of us, they took him to the cross. And he could have changed his mind. He could have said, "Oh no, I don't want to go here." In fact, I heard he went to Gethsemane and prayed, "Father, take this away from me, but not as I will." Because I'm sure he probably didn't want to go through that. But as thy will. And the Father had a message for all human beings to know. And this one knew it too. So he allowed himself to go through this affliction, to be nailed to the cross, hands and feet pierced in the side, thorns on his head, to be ridiculed. For what? What was all this about? So that after they had entombed him, after they had put him where they put people who were dead, 3 days, my friend, or however you want to figure it out, he rose again. For what? To tell all humankind, not just those who were suffering, but those also who was going along with the program. Not just those, but those who was establishing the programs. Hey, if you're on the right track, stay on the right track and don't let anything turn you away. You know what? If they do what they ultimately can do to you, if they kill you, you can live again. So you have nothing to fear. You have no excuse for going along with a system of government that abuses people. You have no excuse for going along with a system of government that slaughters people, bomb people, and kill people. You have no excuse for going along with it. If you believe, if you accept the higher power, and sometimes the evidence of your accepting the higher power means that you don't go along with it. Like Martin Luther King, like Gandhi, like others who you might know, who gave up their lives for standing up for justice and peace. So that's the whole message. I say to you, do you know where you're at? You're definitely not in paradise. You definitely are not in heaven. So where else can you be but hell? So all of you who are suffering, all of you who are 99%, your struggles are no good if you don't take the path of love. And the path of love is to do to others as you want others to do to you. I'm telling you, you might not like it. You might say, there is no Jesus. That's your silly thinking. This is what I know. I don't know if there was a Jesus or not. I was told there was a Jesus. But what I do know is that miracles happen. And miracles come by a power outside of ourselves. I know that. I know that for a fact. And so I can sit here and tell you all the things I'm telling you with as much confidence as I can possibly muster up. And then I can ask you to give me a chance to serve you in a capacity where I can go out and do the speaking for you that you can't do for yourselves because you don't know it. And I can help guide the spirit of love back into our own hearts by standing up being an example. And, you know, what are you going to do? What have you done for the past 30-some years? I mean, I've been out here a long time. You've ignored me, and you're still ignoring me. But that's your business. That's your choice. My choice is to tell you as it is. Do you know where you're at? You are in hell. Now, what are you going to do? Are you going to stay here? Are you going to say, this is all right? This is the best I know? I mean, that's your choice. But I'm also speaking to those who say, what can I do now, Lord? I'm telling you what you can do. Put your faith in God and leave it there. And what I mean by putting your faith in God? I mean doing to others as you'd have others to do unto you. And resisting any power that comes at you and try to destroy you. Any power, when I say destroy, I'm talking about changing you from where you're at to where they want you to be. I think some of you got my message. I want to thank you so very much. This is Eddie Marcus one more time telling you, hey, do you know where you're at? I'm telling you where you can go and how to get there. Bye-bye.